Hey guys, welcome back to the SC Reports podcast. I am your host, Stevan Cyrus. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to be back in this chair. Thank you so much for the support you guys have been showing me these past 4 days. And to my new subscribers, thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue to impress you. Thank you for the love and support. I appreciate that. Now, without further ado, let's get into what you're here for, and that is the news on the NBA trade deadline. So, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of deals did not get done. We're going to start with Jahlil Okafor, who Chicago really wanted, but it didn't end up happening. So that was the first trade that didn't go through. The Suns also tried to get rid of Brandon Knight, Tyson Chandler, struggled to find some suitors. But I think the biggest one here that probably would have kind of made a little splash and made the last day a little bit more entertaining is there was a straight up deal that was supposed to happen, which involved Knicks guard Derrick Rose and Minnesota guard Ricky Rubio. Now, you tried to say that like 5 years ago, you know? Anybody would call you crazy. But it's come to this, Derrick Rose has fallen off a lot. He is struggled with injuries. Ricky Rubio, kind of the same way, hasn't really developed a shot at all. But apparently they were going to do a straight up trade. Everything was ready to go, but Minnesota got cold feet. So I think that's the right call, though. I think Ricky Rubio fits Andrew Wiggins better because he's looking for Andrew Wiggins. He was looking for Zach LaVine. His mentality is much better for a guy like for Andrew Wiggins and LaVine. You bring in Derrick Rose, he's going to have to look for his shot. It might disrupt the run and gun mentality of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're young. They can get out and run. Derrick Rose would kind of stall that a little bit. So I think it was a good move by Minnesota. I could see why Tibbs wanted Rose back. If anybody's going to make Rose play up to high standards, it's Thibodeau. So we'll see what he does in the off season, and if he actually does go to Minnesota on his own free will to join back up with Thibodeau. So we're gonna save some of this Paul George stuff for later because there was a few stuff that actually went down, and I want to cover that properly. You guys want to know about the deals that actually got done, so we're gonna talk about that first. So, the Philadelphia 76ers have traded Nerlens Noel. After a long time, Nerlens Noel is going to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Andrew Bogut, Justin Anderson, and a top 18 protected first round pick. So, what we can tell from this trade is the Sixers, like I've said way back in September, they're looking to free up space down there for Embiid. It was either going to be Noel or Okafor. You keep Noel, you have some solid defense down low. You get rid of Noel, you keep Okafor, you have a solid 4-5 offensive punch. They decided to go with offense over defense here. And they might still deal him in the summer, who knows? So right now, I think Noel is going to go to a new spot. I think he can thrive there in Dallas because, there's not a lot to play for if you're Dallas right now. So I expect Noel to thrive. I think that he's still going to do his thing on defense. I think he might get more of an opportunity in Dallas as well. Andrew Bogut, sad to see him do that. Like, just a few years ago, he was on the Golden State Warriors' best record. All you have to do is sit there for and play 15 minutes. Now he's jumped from Dallas to the Sixers. Really hard to see that happen to him. But, I've heard that he wants a buyout. So we'll see if, the Sixers do buy him out. I mean, he's an aging veteran. I don't think he wants to be in a rebuilding situation at all. So we'll see if Philadelphia grants that. Also, I wanted to talk about what's going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have gotten Doug McDermott, Taj Gibson, and a 2018 second round pick in exchange for Cameron Payne, Anthony Morrow, and Joffrey Laverne. Hopefully I said that correctly. Now, in my opinion, this was a great move, but also it hurts in some aspects. So let's discuss this. So let's look at this from Oklahoma City's side. First, you bring in Doug McDermott, much better scorer than Anthony Morrow, so it's an upgrade. He's going to hit more open shots than Anthony Morrow. That's great. That's what Russell Westbrook needs. That's what we've seen happen when Russell Westbrook kicks it out. He kicks it out to pretty much anybody, and it's almost a guaranteed brick. So Doug McDermott is not going to brick it that much. He's a much better scorer. He can create his own shot in certain aspects, so it's going to be good to see, somebody else that can help lighten the load off of Victor Oladipo. And of course, you're getting a second round pick, which is awesome. Try and find the diamond in the rough. Sam Presti has done a fantastic job in finding good talent no matter where Oklahoma City drafts. We've seen that they've been one of the best in the league at that, kind of like Boston has. So, and then we're going to look at Taj Gibson. Like, what can we not say about Taj Gibson? He's a blue-collar player. I love blue-collar players. They're willing to do anything and anything to win. He's going to scrap. He's a great defender. He's going to rebound the ball. And he's a very solid player. Somebody that we can bring off the bench. And he's going to give you that toughness that you need when, you throw out a guy like Enes Kanter. Taj Gibson can make up for some of that when he's on the floor. So Kanter can, not feel as much pressure to play defense, even though he should. He's in a winning situation. He should be playing a little bit better defense. But now Taj Gibson can kind of help that out. Overall, great trade by Oklahoma City. And it's tough to lose a guy like Cameron Payne, because I see him and I say, that guard is going to be really good. I really do think Cameron Payne in a few years will be talked about. So it's going to be interesting to see him develop in Chicago. I think he'll be there for a very long time. Anthony Morrow, spot-up shooter. It's tough to see that happen because you want more shooters in Oklahoma to help when Russell Westbrook has to kick it out. But in this case, you kind of had to make the trade, right? Cameron Payne's name has been in trade discussions all year. And I wonder how Oklahoma City fans feel, because at one point, right, earlier in the season, you had a chance to get Rudy Gay, but Cameron Payne, fractured his arm, I believe. I could be getting that wrong. Correct me in the comment section. That's what this is all about. But he did get injured earlier in the season, and the trade didn't go through because obviously Cameron Payne was hurt. But then Rudy Gay hurt himself. So was this kind of planned? Is this the better deal in your opinion? I want to know from Oklahoma City fans, what do you feel would have been the better for your team? Rudy Gay or Doug McDermott and Taj Gibson? So that's that in Oklahoma City and Chicago. Pretty good deal. Then we're going to talk about two quick ones here. The Rockets have traded guard KJ McDaniels to the Nets to basically just create $3.3 million in cap space. So again, they have a few people they want to re-sign. They're just making some room. KJ McDaniels, a few years ago, he was in Philly, and he was actually a really good fantasy player. I don't want to say it rudely, but when he's not playing for anything, he puts up pretty good stats. When he gets a pretty good run of minutes, he does pretty good. So I think going to the Nets, that might bring back some of his value and possibly keep him in the league. Obviously, when he got traded first to Houston, he wasn't going to get any chance, right? Trevor Ariza, James Harden, you're not playing. You're not playing. So I think he's a pretty great defender. He does have his moments. And now that he's back in a situation where he's not competing for anything, I think that we might see a little bit of his stats go up as his minutes should increase in Brooklyn. And another quick one here, the Nuggets have acquired Roy Hibbert from the Bucks for a protected future second round pick. So, Bucks don't want Roy Hibbert. They basically want second round pick, but it is protected, so it's not a guarantee. Roy Hibbert, a few years ago, we talked about him as probably one of the better big men in the East. He kind of just fell off, after he kind of got his money, he kind of just fell off. But he did have a little bit of rim protection. It's going to be interesting to see how the Nuggets use him. So let's look out for that. And now the Rockets have traded Tyler Ennis, Canadian boy. He's going to the Lakers in a move that just creates $3.5 million in cap space for Houston. So Houston's trying to make some cap space. I think they are trying to sign some people in the offseason. They want to make as much space as possible. But Tyler Ennis in this situation, going to the Lakers, it's a good move. He will definitely get some run in the Lake Show. Of course, he's going to be coming off the bench, probably following Jordan Clarkson or D'Angelo Russell. I like Tyler Ennis's game. He will definitely get a good chance now that Lou Williams is out of the picture. I think that creates that time and minutes for Tyler Ennis. So definitely be on the lookout for him. And the Hawks have traded Mike Scott to the Suns for a protected second round pick and cash. Now, most of you guys know Mike Scott. He was in a bit of trouble earlier on in the season, but he stayed quiet. He's kept his head out of any issues now. But the Hawks decided, you know what? We want to try and get a second round pick, but they really just did it for some cash. Mike Scott, he had some potential before. I kind of liked his game, but that kind of just disappeared. So good luck to him. Hopefully a new environment creates some better encouragement for him to go forward. So in Dallas, we're going back to Dallas here. Deron Williams might actually get his contract bought out because he wants to become a free agent. He wants to try and go after a ring. And the team is pretty much preparing for that because they're trying to give the reins to Yogi Ferrell. So first, quick shout out to Yogi. Hoosier all day. Love that dude. He's definitely doing his work over there in Dallas. But Deron Williams, he wants his ring. He doesn't want to be in a losing situation right now. He knows time is winding down and he wants to chase after a ring. So it's a good idea to just let Deron Williams go. Let him have the opportunity to chase for one. And I believe if I didn't talk about this on the first day of NBA trade deadline, here it is one more time. The Pelicans are expected to waive Terrence Jones so he can pursue other options. Now, most of you guys know Terrence Jones. He's not going to get a lot of minutes with Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis, all right? Both of those guys go 30, 35 minutes a night. They're good, right? So that's not going to leave a lot of time for Terrence Jones to play. So far this season, he's been averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds a game. He doesn't want to see that disappear. He doesn't want to become an afterthought. So that is what is going on there. And I believe this was the last serious one, unless I missed one. And if so, I will put those in the comment sections, the one that I missed, and we can talk about it in the comment section. But this is the last one I see here on the updates for all the trades online. And huge one for Toronto. I actually made a separate video on this, so if you want to see the in-depth, my in-depth take on it, go ahead and watch. The Toronto Raptors have sent Jared Sullinger to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for PJ Tucker. Sorry about that. So again, they also sent 2 second-round picks as well over to the Phoenix Suns. So like I said in my video, if you guys watched it, great move. Another person off the bench that Toronto can rely upon to play better defense. You know, the first unit's good. The second unit has to be better on defense. This helps Kojo. This helps pretty much anybody in that second unit. We can throw in a guy like PJ Tucker if we need him in very clutch situations on defense. We can just line up our good defenders and they can lock down everybody. Dwayne Casey, very defensive minded. They went after Serge. They got PJ Tucker. Toronto is trying to make a big splash. They're trying to get back to being the second best team in the Eastern Conference, and I think this helps them a lot. So I definitely do think that these guys have made themselves better than Boston and Washington, who seem to be the only other legit people that can have the opportunity to face the Cavs. But again, is it enough to beat the Cavs? We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how PJ Tucker gels. And yeah, guys, Jared Sullinger, failed experiment. Hopefully he has some good luck there in Phoenix. So guys, if I did miss anything, I will talk about that in the comment section below, and we can talk about it there. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and listening to these podcasts. It means the world to me. Again, criticism is always welcome. Please tell me how I can get better. I've hit 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. It's great. This is the first time I actually done it on one channel, so thank you so much for that. And I know sports channels usually don't get a ton of views, ton of subscribers. I mean, I think JR Briefs is probably the biggest sports channel on YouTube, I think, and he only has like 300 in like what, 5-6 years. So obviously this isn't going to be exploding channel. It's just a sports channel. It might become a little bit more if I want to make it a little bit more diverse, but I want to thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it, guys. If there's any news that you want to see in the future, please let me know in the comment section below, whether it is top news, entertainment news, just let me know. Because trade deadline, NBA draft, you know, off-season predictions, those are really the only times, you know, news is like at its all-time high for sports, other than the breaking news. So that's when my channel kind of goes into recession, and I can only do like 1 or 2 videos because there's only 2 kind of topics. So if you have different topics you want to hear about, different stuff you want to see, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to talk about that. Expect winners and losers from the trade deadline tomorrow. We'll talk about Boston as well. And yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.